J.C., why don't you see that man?
What man?
The latest process server. Surely you're familiar with process servers.
Now, Mattie, don't you start.
I'm not starting. I'm just frightened of my reputation. I'm spending so much time with this one. Well, these bring your bank account down to a nice flat zero. Your wife's doing a lot of Christmas shopping, Mr. Pidgeon. Why don't you pay any attention when I tell you how close to bankruptcy you are?
It's going to be all right, Mattie. I tell you, it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right until the stores come to take back the gifts.
Would they do that?
Oh, if you don't pay your bills. Oh, what's the use? From your son. Collect.
Hasn't he left Stanford yet?
I didn't read it. I just paid for it, $2.78. And your brother-in-law's waiting to see you. No doubt also collect.
We'll get rid of him.
When you haven't been able to for 20 years?
I'm busy with a client.
That's the one lie I couldn't tell without bursting into tears.
Willie! Willie!
Hello, boy. Oh, good news, eh?
As a matter of fact, it's very sad. Wire from Reggie from Denver.
Oh, it's too bad.
Doctors give no hope for Uncle Henry. Only a matter of hours now. For Pete's sake, why can't I come home? He doesn't even know I'm here. This is one through the rest of it doesn't matter.
No. It's Uncle Henry we have to think about.
Yeah, the poor old fellow.
That's too bad. Still, he is getting on. I mean,
been failing for years.
Exactly, yes.
It isn't nearly fast enough at the rate you've been going.
She's right. No need of being hypocritical about it.
Of course not, no.
Uncle Henry would have been the last one to expect it. He is a tough old bird.
Of course he is, yeah.
I don't think I'm being too callous when I think of what Clara and the girls and Reggie could do with that money.
I shouldn't think so. No.
Well, they're young enough to enjoy it.
Exactly, yeah.
I could use some of it, too.
Of course.
Build up the firm.
Build it up, yes.
Yeah, money makes money.
Wow, money make, yes.
Come over to Frost with
I'd
me.
be delighted.
There's a bracelet over there that Clara admires.
Well, as a matter of fact, I want to do a little shopping on my own, and I thought that perhaps you might, say you
Why, sure, Willie, how much?
Oh, well,
Mr. Pidgeon.
Huh?
It would seem that Willie left the barn door open.
Afraid I've been kind of a nuisance, but I gotta touch you.
Oh, that's all right. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Pressure of business, you know. Come, Willie. Send a wire to that little whippersnapper in Denver and tell him to stay there until the end. And impress on him that he's a representative of the family in this hour of...
need?
Yes, sir. Yes. That's right. You know what I mean. Good day, sir.
Good day. You know, I've been here so long, I kind of hate to leave.
There'll be others.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, McFarland.
Vase from Tiffany's for the Carters. I had the most awful feeling I sent them the same thing last year. Or did they send us one?
Well, this begins to look like the real thing. How are you, my dear?
Frantic?
Well, you should take it a little easy. You have these young ladies here to help you. You'll be born to a frazzle before Christmas Eve.
They couldn't do a thing without me.
The tree is a beauty.
Is it here? They're not to put it in the front window of the drawing room. You tell them, Miss Hempstead.
Why not the front window? We've always had it in the front window. It looks pretty from the street. People who haven't such a nice tree...
That's just it. Therese says it's all wrong. She's come back from Boston with a lot of new ideas. I hadn't time to listen to them, but it's about charity and not flaunting your wealth. She wants the tree in the library where less fortunate people can't see it.
The tree has always been in the drawing room, and it's not going to be put in the library. That's the only room in this house I've been able to train your brother Willie to stay out of.
No, you know you're really fond of Willie, dear, and he's just brought you a lovely gift.
Oh.
The library. Dad!
Well, how do I
This is wonderful, Dad. You?
Fine. What's this I've been hearing about some soldier named Bates?
Some soldier named Bates. Captain Bates.
You love him?
Madly, wildly, and fearsomely.
How unutterably mucky.
Oh, isn't she devastating? When I left, she was doing Lana Turner. You know, I haven't been able to figure this new one out yet.
Here are mine, Miss Lodge. They're all labeled, and here's the list. Now, I want them done in pale green, with a wide white satin ribbon and the darker green velvet sprays attached to the bow. And I don't want anyone else to use that combination. We've already used that combination. But I told you that... Can't you just mix them, darling? Mother, don't be tiresome. No one uses mixed colors anymore. You wrap your gifts the same each year until it becomes distinctive of you, like your perfume. The other is absolutely the quo.
All right, darling. We'll find something distinctive for you. Oh, and I am glad to see you're using your French whenever you can.
Now, darling, tell me about this young man of yours.
Oh, you'll meet him. He's spending Christmas with us.
What's his first name?
Stephen, and don't call him Steve.
Don't worry about me.
But I do. In fact, I worry about the whole blessed family.
What's the matter? Not good enough for him?
No, darling, it isn't that at all. It's just, well, we're so wacky, and he's been brought up differently. His mother, Mrs. Bates, is a very forceful sort of woman. Terrifically back bay and high church, and...
Isn't she hyphenated?
No, it's Beresford Bates, but no hyphen. I expect she'd consider the other un-American.
She sounds grim.
Mrs. Bates is one of the wealthiest, most socially prominent women in the East.
She still sounds grim.
Grim or not, will you please stop interrupting? Now, this is serious. I must have Dad's approval of something I want to do. Something I simply have to do.
What's that, honey?
Bring a charity case into the house for the holidays. Someone who otherwise wouldn't have any Christmas. Well, why do you stare like that? What's so monstrous in the idea? Mrs. Bates does it every Christmas, only she doesn't stop at one. Last year, she had 6 children.
Mrs. Bates? I thought you said Stephen was an only child.
Whoops. Count on Mother to pick up the wrong thread of a conversation. We were speaking of bringing a needy person into the house at Christmas.
Oh?
And I want... Well, to tell you the truth, I have to have one. I told Mrs. Bates we've always done it. And with Stephen coming...
Of all the foul ideas, you promised me a party with the entire upper floor and only my friends. How can I have them with some smelly charity case in the house?
They don't necessarily have to smell. I think it's rather a sweet idea. You say Mrs. Bates does this every year?
Yes, Mother.
Then I don't see why I can't do it. It might start a movement.
We aren't doing this to make a splash.
Are we doing it? That's what I want to know.
Why, couldn't we just show him Willie and say that he's a charity case?
James.
Really, J.C.? Well, I offered to leave years ago.
Sure. Sorry, Willie. I was only kidding.
Well, I think you're all being terrible to laugh or bicker about helping the needy.
All right. You can have your charity case. Where do you get them?
I don't know.
Perhaps one of the servants know of someone.
Wait, I have it. Every year, the Globe publishes a list of needy cases. Now then, we'll find a copy, close our eyes, and pick a letter.
What do you mean, pick a letter?
The cases are listed 1, 2, 3, and so on, and the people are referred to simply as Miss A, Miss B, and Mr. C. You know, I thought it was rather decent of them not to give the full name. Oh, yes. You know, I think that Oh, thank you, yes. Here, Case 1. Miss L, age 41, renounced the chances of a brilliant career as a concert pianist to nurse her aged and infirm mother. Only a month ago, the mother died.
Well, I don't want to seem mean, but someone with such a recent death in the family would...
She'd either tell us all of her mother's symptoms or try to play the piano.
It isn't that.
Try another, dear.
Case 7. Mr. H has toiled at back-breaking labor to support his 7 motherless children.
Out.
For heaven's sake, why don't you do as Willie suggested? Close your eyes and pick one. Then let's have a little Christmas cheer of our own.
Shall I?
Of course, darling.
All right.
What did you get?
Since he was hit by a speeding car 10 years ago, Anthony M. has seen fame and fortune desert him. Once a matinee idol, beloved of all theatergoers,
An actor.
he was struck down at the height of his career, leaving him permanently lame.
Oh, what a pity.
Yet Mr. M. has accepted his lot with philosophic fortitude and has shown an admirable willingness to take the most menial of jobs. Well, he's it as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds like a gentleman, almost.
The sort who could wear a dress suit if necessary.
Mother, listen to the rest of it. Still, misfortune seems to pursue him. Only a month ago, while working as night watchman in a New Jersey factory, a mysterious fire broke out and the plant was burned to the ground. Thus does the world forget easily, and this once famous man needs your help. Give if you can.
Well, we certainly shall. He'll want a muffler.
A muffler?
But of course. All night watchmen wear mufflers, and I've 3 left over. But one can hardly put Merry Christmas to Mr. M, can one? I'd better know his name before I rap.
Mother, I don't think you have quite the right idea about
Well,
this.
of course I have.
Naturally, we'll give him more than mufflers. Have McFarlane call the paper, or let Willie call. He's terribly sweet with people.
Oh, Dad, doesn't it make you feel all warm and happy inside to be doing this? But we must remember to treat him as a guest, you know. Make him feel at home, at least for a week. You know, this organization was just about to drop you from its roles. I think you're very, very fortunate, Mr. Marchand. And I hope that this time you will behave with a proper amount of gratitude.
Gratitude in most men is usually a secret desire to receive greater benefits.
The chauffeur is here from Mr. Marchand.
Thank you.
I'll take it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very sorry, madam. I was attending Mr. Marchand.
Oh.
It's the internal injuries. The poor gentleman suffers something dreadful during the night. A bit of egg and milk and a dash of spirits early in the morning, and he goes right back to sleep again. Needs it, I say. And think of the mornings that he hasn't had it.
Poor soul. That was very good of you, McFarlane. You give him everything he wants.
Very good, madam.
Mother! Oh, Mother, he's perfectly delightful. Oh. So humble and grateful, and yet, I don't know, he wears poverty with all the charm of an Inverness cape.
Oh, what a pretty idea. I must get dressed and meet him. Oh, McFarlane, I was going to say, well, never mind. I'll ring for you later. I'm going to have to leave you for a little while. I haven't had my hair or my face done in days.
I was thinking, Mrs. Pidgeon, the velvet robe you got from Mr. Perry, could we switch that to Mr. M?
The very thing. He couldn't possibly be offended at a robe, but we must be careful to call him Mr. Marchand and not Mr. M.
I see, J.C. Do you think Mr. M would resent it if I offered him my second-best dinner jacket?
You mean the one you've gotten too fat to wear, Willie?
Oh.
Sure, give him all that stuff. Make the old boy feel better.
Splendid, splendid. So the man said, jump, I've got a blanket. And he jumped, and the man didn't have any blanket at all. It was very amusing.
Willie.
Oh, you're a connoisseur, my dear sir.
I'm afraid I can't take credit for the wine. I leave all the buying to McFarlane.
You're very fortunate to have him. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You sent for me?
Yes, I wanted you to know that the car is at your disposal.
Thank you.
Can't make you feel that you're a prisoner here. And in case you go out, you need a little cash.
Oh, no. You're very kind, but I couldn't possibly accept it unless you would permit me to buy a few small gifts for your charming wife and lovely daughters.
Fine. They'd get a kick out of it. I am on my way to the office now. Would you care to drive down with me?
I'd be delighted to.
Fine. Come right along.
Thank you.
Inside? No. I'll take care of him.
Hello.
How do you do, sir?
Pain. Very bad pain again. I stopped in a bar for a shot. Purely medicinal, of course.
Oh, yes, of course, sir. Purely medicinal. Now, you come into the library with me, sir. And then later on, I'll help you upstairs.
Thank you. That'll be very nice.
pretty overcoat.
What happened?
Uncle Henry died yesterday, and he's left every cent to some showgirl.
What?
Showgirl?
He was insane.
Do you mean at his age, Uncle Henry?
No, Mother. He hasn't even seen her since she was a child.
That proves he was crazy.
No one is going to believe he hasn't been seeing her. And if it gets in the papers and Mrs. Bates reads it... Oh.
Well, what are the terms of the will? Do you know?
The lawyer was really a decent sort of guy, and he let me copy down the most important part. Without all the whereas and let it be known, here it is. To the girl who played Little Eva in the precise production of Uncle Tom's Cabin at the Bijou Theater, Pueblo, Colorado, in 1915, I leave my entire estate, with the exception of the following bequests. $1 to my nephew, James Pidgeon, who is married to an empty-headed, extravagant woman, and if I left him any more of my hard-earned money, she'd only throw it away.
I don't think that's very nice of Uncle Henry. Silly, too. If he'd left us his money, I wouldn't throw it away. I'd keep it.
Well, there's some more here. His foreman and his servants and that sort of thing. When we get back to the girl. I lost touch with her years ago, and although she was billed as Sunshine Maryvale, I have reason to believe her real name is Watson.
Watson?
No worse than Sunshine Maryvale.
To this end, I have entrusted my attorney, H.M. Trainer of Denver, to find this girl. If she is not found during a search to be conducted over a reasonable length of time, then my residuary estate shall pass without further legal steps or delay to my nephew, J.C. Pidgeon of New York. Mr. Trainer shall be the sole executor and trustee of my estate. There it is, Dad. $5 million.
Lovable character, Uncle Henry.
Oh, yes, charming little man, yes.
Get me Denver, the lawyer.
I want to place a call to Mr. H.M. Trainer, Denver, Colorado. He's a lawyer. He's in the book. J.C. Pidgeon, Parkway 6, 4718.
Turn on the Christmas tree light.
What for?
I don't know. I thought it would be more cheerful.
I'll do it.
Yeah, hello? Yeah? All right. Mr. Trainer? James Pidgeon speaking. I've just heard the terms of my uncle's will. Yes. Yeah, he was a fine old man. I admit that this whole thing is somewhat of a surprise, but I wanted to talk to you about one of the conditions. It says that unless the girl is found during a search to be conducted over a reasonable length of time. Quiet. Well, is the period of time specified in the will? Oh, he left that to you. Well, what do you consider a reasonable length of time? Well, Mr. Trainer, here it is. I'm not quite as wealthy as my uncle thought. Successful, yes. But anyone who doesn't want $5 million is a fool. I don't know how you're fixed financially, but for a consideration, a handsome consideration, couldn't you limit your search to a week? Right. Yes? Good, I'll keep in touch with you. Who was it said every man has his price?
Never mind who said that. What did Trainer say?
He's going to play ball. He has to advertise, but he's not going to make the will public. Simply insert notices in the papers without saying why the Watson girl is wanted. And he's agreed to limit the search to 1 week. If she's not discovered in that time, we get the money. Also, he slipped me a tip.
What?
Uncle Henry corresponded with the girl after the show moved on. She was so young she could hardly write. Just sent him silly little kid drawings of funny mans and stuff.
I remember when you used to do that, dear. It was so sweet.
Oh, Mother.
Yes, Mother. What's the tip?
I'm getting to that. The parents always added postscripts to the letters, and from certain references made to New York, the lawyer feels that if the girl is found, it'll be here instead of out there.
Well, what good does that do?
I propose to find her first.
Dad, we don't want her found.
We don't want her to find out about Uncle Henry, which is something quite different. I'm thinking of Poe.
Poe?
Edgar Allan. The Purloined Letter. The last place that anyone would look for her is right here in this house. And we could keep the papers away from her.
Good heavens. Don't swear, Therese.
Well, who wouldn't swear? We have a charity case in the house and now a child actress. And Stephen is coming.
The charity case is your idea. If Stephen thinks it's odd, we can whisper quietly to him that she's another one. Provided you can find her, of course. And Angela doesn't get wind of it.
See that she doesn't.
You know, I might be of some use in locating Miss Watson. That is to say, I've hung about the theater quite a bit.
Stage doors, you mean?
I think Willie's absolutely right. Once those people start in the theater, they stay with it.
How would you go about looking for her?
I would suggest that you contact the Actors' Equity Association. If she acted as a child, it'll be recorded someplace, since all children of the theater must have court permission. Oh, thanks. In that way, you can learn her first name and eliminate all other Watsons, of which undoubtedly there'll be quite a number. May I?
Sure.
Thank you. Having learned her first name, you need only consult the files of Actors' Equity, and if she's still connected to the theater, they will have her address. I would be very happy to undertake this little mission for you, if you wish.
Who is this guy?
A guest.
You said something about a charity case?
I am the charity case, young man. And until this moment, I've been treated with a courtesy and kindness that springs from the heart. The pure in heart.
This plan we were discussing, did you hear all of it?
Enough to understand your motives, sir. And I apologize for what must seem like an act of eavesdropping, but I was on that borderline between sleep and waking, trying to recover from a painful seizure which overcame me this afternoon while out shopping. For a moment or two, it was impossible for me to move.
Why don't you face it, Dad? If we find this girl and keep her from collecting, this charity case can live off of you for the rest of his life.
Young man.
You said every man has his price. Find out his. Make a deal with him the way you did with the lawyer.
I have known misfortune, poverty, humiliation. I've even known the shame of having to beg. But I have never received such an insult as you have just delivered. I have no price, young man. Unless the value a man places upon his honor may be called a price, and if that be so, yes. My price comes high, for I have honor. Honor in the face of adversity. Honor in the face of death. And though I starve or freeze to death, I cannot, I will not remain in this house any longer. This lovely girl, this equally lovely and kind woman, your mother, took me into their house when I was faced with the blackest despair. No, not just despair, sir, but the river. And you, and you, sir, held out a helping hand. Gave me hope, friendship, food, clothes, warmth. Beg your pardon.
Boy, what an exit.
You're absolutely heartless.
It's that Western education. I don't think you should go on with it, Reggie. It hardens you.
Hogwash.
Silence. You will apologize to Mr. Marchand, Reggie, and see to it that he stays here. And I think we should accept his offer to help look for the Watson girl. Willie can go with him tomorrow.
Hello. Summer owl, eh?
Farewell, my child. Remember me.
You kill me.
And what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, brother.
If you're a lady, perhaps you're hoping that certain somebody will give you furs.
You don't have to be a lady to wish for furs, you dope.
sweat wash. You bring it. We bring it.
I beg your pardon, I've dialed the wrong number.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Oh, come on, try it again, fella. You sounded all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, let it be lunch instead of cocktails. Please, lunch instead of cocktails. If I eat any more peanuts, I'll be hanging by my...
Miss Watson's apartment. Miss Watson's maid speaking. 1 moment, please. I will see. Hello? Who is this? Yes, but I don't seem to remember a Mr. Crawford.
No, you wouldn't. The fact of the matter is, what'll I tell her?
Didn't the family instruct you?
No, I suppose they had no idea that we'd find her so easily. My word, I never gave it a thought.
The fact of what matter is what?
Well, you see, I discovered that we're cousins.
What? Say, what kind of a gag is this?
No, it's quite true, Miss Watson. You see, the family had a phrenologist, I mean to say a genealogist, looking up our family tree. Silly and all that, you know, but they did, yet, and they've unearthed you. I mean, say, the fact that there was a Watson, well, and the family wants you to visit them over the holidays. Of course, you have other plans. Still, we thought you might see them, or, well, perhaps me.
Well, I'd like to see you. But if you come in here with a writ, brother, there's going to be plenty of trouble.
Oh, I assure you.
Well, just come, bring it if you've got it, and let's get it over with. But if you're a right kind of a guy, you'll stop at the delicatessen on the corner and bring some lunch. I'm hungry.
Oh, I say. Why, you're charming.
And you're Santa Claus. Come on in.
Thank you.
How do you do?
Oh, this is Mr. Marchand.
How do you do? Not Anthony Marchand.
I'm flattered that you remember the name.
Why, anybody who knows show business remembers that name.
You're as kind as you're mistaken.
Oh, here, let me help you. Now, what's this cousin business?
Isn't it wonderful? I telephoned the family that I'd located you, and they're delighted. I'm to bring you home with me, bag and baggage.
Are you kidding?
On my word, ask Mr. M. I mean Mr. Marchand.
No, Mr. M is both sufficient and correct. And lest Miss Watson labor under any misconceptions, I should like to explain my connection with this happy affair. You see, Miss Watson, I'm a charity case.
Oh, I say, do we need to...
I am a charity case who's had the very great fortune to be invited into the Pidgeon household for the holidays.
The Pidgeon household?
My brother-in-law is J.C. Pidgeon.
And they want me to visit them, too?
Oh, definitely.
They sound like nice people.
Oh, what fools we are. In our eagerness to reach Miss Watson, we forgot to buy the necessary liquids with which to wash this down.
Why, of course.
I noticed the place right next door as we entered.
Oh, yeah. Do you like champagne, Miss Watson?
Oh, with food, I like anything.
You do? Well, that's wonderful. I'll be right back. I should say...
Look, Mr. Marchand.
I find it exceedingly pleasant.
Well, you're not ready for the grave yourself.
Thank you.
But seriously, we're troopers, see? We speak the same language. And strictly between you and me, this Pidgeon family is nuts.
Nuts?
I'm no more related to them than I am to you.
You think not?
Well, I know darn well I'm not. But if they think I am, I'm moving in, because this is a kiss from Cinderella. I owe 2 months' rent, and I haven't got a bean. I've got clothes because they're my stock in trade. I've got 3 bottles of nail polish and a bottle of bleach. And as long as they hold out, so can I. But after that...
Aren't you a natural blonde?
On the mousy side. My mother started the bleaching business when I was a kid. Because for some reason, people always seem to go for blonde kids. I used to play in stock.
Really? Well, fine training for any actor. East Lynne, Great Divide, 2 Orphans, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom's Cabin. Fine training for what? When I was 5, I played Little Eva until I was as black in the face as Uncle Tom. This is what I mean. They must have an awful lot of dough. Maybe it isn't honest when I know they've made a mistake. And I wouldn't want you to think I'm planning to really chisel them out of anything.
I won't.
But I'd just like to sleep for a while in a bed that doesn't pull out of the wall. And watch some servants pussyfooting around with trays of something for me. And not jump out of my skin and try to remember my prayers every time the phone or doorbell rings. See what I mean?
How do I look?
really like Santa Claus.
I bought him off a chap in the street. He was tired and wanted to go home anyway. Merry Christmas, everybody! Oh. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Just drink a cup of kindness for the days of old
William!
Miss Watson, our new cousin.
Oh, Miss Watson was so surprised at finding that she's related to you that we had great trouble in persuading her to accept your invitation.
My dear, how nice. I feel far too little stress is put on family in these careless days.
Happy to meet you, Miss Watson. Any of my wife's relatives are welcome.
I beg your pardon?
It was swell of you to look me up.
Oh, this is Therese and this is Reggie. And our little daughter is in bed.
Your little daughter is neither little nor in bed.
Then you should be. I expect you'd like to go directly to your room. I'll show you up. James, pay the cabman. What in the world are you doing?
I won my bell.
Reggie, get Willie to bed. I'm afraid you're not getting a very good impression of us, Miss Watson. Willie's always such a gentleman.
He isn't the first gentleman I've seen with a snootful.
A snootful? Oh, Steve.
What's that?
I said Merry Christmas.
Thank you, McFarland. This'll help me sleep.
Oh, I hope so, sir. I brought you some of Mr. Crawford's sleeping garments, sir.
Thank you. I played Hamlet.
I saw you, sir, in London.
Oh, did you? I played Richard III, Macbeth, Henry IV, Petruchio in a great production of The Taming of the Shrew, and no one has equaled my death scene as Romeo. Yes, I even played the Hunchback of Notre Dame. But there's one part I've never played.
What was that, sir?
God.
God, sir?
God.
Good morning, Miss Warland.
Morning, sir.
Could keep me awake.
What an amusing way of phrasing it. What on earth is the matter with you, James? You look as if you were posing or had a pain.
I'm not posing, and I have no pain. I'm thinking, and it does not cause me pain to think.
Oh, dear, he's cross this morning. You might say good morning to Miss Watson.
I might if I were given the opportunity. Good morning, Miss Watson.
Good morning.
Husbands. James?
What?
Get your breakfast. There are kidneys this morning.
I haven't finished my juice.
Oh, those scrambled eggs look like something out of this world.
Good morning, ladies. Mr. Pidgeon, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Marchand. I hope you had a good night.
Thank you, madam. Better than usual. Ah, thank you, McFarland.
Purely medicinal, sir.
And how are you this morning, sir?
James! What is the matter?
My leg's asleep.
Well, why don't you stand up and stomp your foot?
I don't want to stand up and stomp my foot. What do you think I am, a heifer?
Not at your age.
The whole thing about the will is in the morning paper. I'm sitting on it. Get it when I stand up.
I'm sorry.
Dear.
You'll have to excuse me. I received some bad news.
James, what is it? What's happened?
Mr. Marchand, will you come with me to the library?
Glad to. Excuse me, ladies.
He's concealing something.
Thank heavens we got out of that. Keep the Watson girl occupied and send Mrs. Pidgeon to me in the library.
Glad to.
What is it? What's happened? Shh, darling. Father's talking to the lawyer in Denver.
I see. Well, can't be helped now, I guess. We'll just have to hope for the best. What's that? The same to you.
What did he say?
Merry Christmas.
You think he's double-crossed you, Dad?
No, he had to file a will for probate. He did it quietly, but some smart reporter got wind of it. He was upset about it. He even held out hope that maybe the Watson girl was dead.
Well, you didn't tell him.
That she couldn't be dead and eating kidneys and bacon in my dining room? No.
What do we do?
I don't know.
We've got to get her out of town. Away from the newspapers and the radio.
Where?
How? If you'd only bought that place in Connecticut that I wanted last summer.
Wait a minute. There's a house that we haven't been able to even give away. It's about 60 miles north. The nearest village is 5 miles from it. No telephone. Here it is. Built in 1771. Additions and improvements have strictly adhered to the period... never mind that. 6 master bedrooms.
Can you get possession of the place?
Well, certainly all I have to do is go to the office and get the keys.
Well, where are the owners?
Let's see. Yeah. House has remained possession, same family. The only surviving heir is Lady Allensby, now residing in England.
Well, that sounds like the place. But how will we explain the sudden move to Miss Watson?
And Stephen. What am I going to tell him? Oh, I wish I were dead.
What will we tell them? We've made such elaborate plans here for Christmas. They're sure to think such a sudden change odd, at least.
Yeah, give me time. I'll think of something. Boyerson, order me one of those tall things that Mr. M has for breakfast.
Would you put him on a chair yourself, please, sir? My hands are all grubby. And only yesterday I had myself all done up for Christmas, and now I can't spend it with my boyfriend, and it's cruel.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beg your pardon, please.
I guess you're the boyfriend from Boston. Well, Therese and Mrs. Pidgeon will be down in a minute. In the meantime, make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Oh, my dear boy, such a dreadful reception. But have you heard? A dear aunt of Mr. Pidgeon's has just passed away, and he insists on spending Christmas in her old house in the country. It's been in the family for generations. Holds memories, you know. But it's so tiresome for you.
Oh, not at all. And I am sorry to hear it, but I'm afraid this is no time for me to be intruding.
Oh, no, it isn't as if she were here and we had to go to a funeral. She passed away in South America. It's just, well, shall we call it a sentimental pilgrimage? Have you met Mr. Pidgeon? Or is he here?
Unless,
Oh, dear, no. That's Mr. M. I mean, Mr. Marchand. It's a charity case. We always have charity in the house at Christmas. I understand your dear mother is an advocate of the same idea.
Yes, she is.
Oh. Well, there's no use my showing you to a room. We are going to start very shortly. So will you just make yourself comfortable and I'll send Therese along.
I'm afraid she's taking longer than usual to dress.
Oh, you little fiend, this is blackmail.
Well, it's no worse than what you're doing to the Watson woman.
You're so clever.
I'm not as stupid as she is, apparently. And I'd like that bright velvet evening gown you just bought. It makes your skin look sallow.
Oh.
Don't swear, sister darling. You know Mother doesn't approve. And the elegant Mr. Bates and his mother, ooh, they'd be shattered.
Oh, she knows. Oh, Angela, she's known all along. Overheard the whole thing.
I thought you meant Miss Watson.
Well, it amounts to the same thing unless you can make her promise to keep quiet.
Where is Angela now?
In there, stripping me of my wardrobe. Oh, Mother, if you have any love for me, talk her out of that evening gown. But she's apt to show up in it at dinner, and heaven knows what Stephen will think. Heaven only knows what he's going to think anyway. Mother, this family is absolutely insane.
I know, dear. I know. Oh, dear.
Stephen.
Darling.
Oh, Stephen. I'm so sorry. All the lovely things we planned, the theater, dancing, and, well, just being with you.
We'll be together, if you want me to stay. And there'll be years ahead of us in which to do the other thing.
Yes, Steve.
If you say so.
In here.
Uh-oh. A Christmas present from the servants.
What is it?
Everybody braced, brave, and smiling? They've quit.
What? Dear sir, it is my painful duty to inform you that the entire staff has struck. And since my accomplishments do not include cooking and building of fires, I am also regretfully tendering my resignation. Respectfully, McFarland.
His accomplishments. Well, there's a postscript. Please tell Mr. Marchand I am sorry I shan't be here to look after him. So I'm including the recipe for his morning drink. Your recipe, sir.
Thank you.
Well, what do we do?
I haven't the faintest idea. Oh.
What was this, a torture chamber?
Oh, a loom for making rugs. Your father's great-great-grandmother made that very rug you're standing on.
Really? I wish the old girl had made it a bit thicker. I'd feel the cold coming up to the soles of my shoes.
It's easy to see why the cook left.
Look at my things. After all my work. Call an agency.
There is no telephone.
Then let Stephen or Reggie drive you into the village we passed. Surely we can get local help of some kind.
I will not have any local help in this house. You seem to forget that I was reared here.
Oh, Pidgey.
How do you think I'd feel if the cook turned out to be some girl I went to school with? Or the butler, the president of my debating team?
If you were on a debating team, I'm sure you were the president. Still, I get your point. What do you suggest?
You used to be able to cook. Why don't you try it again?
On that thing? Oh.
I've cooked on everything from a gas jet to an electric grill smuggled in past the landlady. Let's take a crack at it, Mrs. Pidgeon. If some of these able-bodied guys will scare up some wood.
That's the spirit.
I'll get some.
Oh, me too.
Where's it stored?
In the shed out back.
Well, there's no fuel like an old fuel.
Do forgive me for bringing this up, Mr. M. Marchand. We know you've worked at being a night watchman. I just wondered if you'd had any experience with furnaces.
Well, no, not in a professional capacity, but I'd be delighted to try my hand at it.
How's this?
That's swell.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter besides everything?
I just remembered that factory that burned to the ground.
What factory?
The last place Mr. M worked.
I suppose he had nothing to do with the fire, poor soul. But I just asked him to try and start a fire in the furnace. You better go down and stay with him, Willie.
Well, where is it?
In the basement.
Oh.
Come over here, my friend. Brandy. Bottled when we were mere children. My first impulse, of course, was to take it upstairs since everybody is cold and slightly depressed. I have also been informed that no supply at all has been brought.
What?
Christmas notwithstanding.
That's terrible.
Seems Captain Bates does not approve.
And I had him sized up as a regular fellow. Let's take it up anyway. The rest of them could use it.
On the other hand, wouldn't it be cruelly unkind to raise their hopes and then find upon opening the bottle that it had been ruined by age?
Oh, but age improved.
We should sample it first.
Well, perhaps it would be, as you say, kinder.
Infinitely. Now, over there is what was undoubtedly the caretaker's room. In it, you may find some glasses.
What do you think?
I seem to detect a slightly exaggerated flavor of age.
We shouldn't have drunk it so fast.
Let's go slow on the next.
You know, we're supposed to be building a fire.
Oh, yes, and so we shall. Oh, look. McFarland, the benign soul, has already laid it. Now, all we need is kerosene to start it.
Do you think it's safe?
Certainly. Only way to start a fire.
That fire you were in, you know how it started?
They never found out.
Sabotage?
Oh, no. No, that isn't likely. It was a mattress factory. If you are ever homeless, which I sincerely hope you never will be, and have no place to sleep, I cannot recommend too highly the job of night watchman in a mattress factory.
I'd be all right.
Their slogan was, sink down on a downy mattress. I did. Now, I'm morally certain I extinguished that cigarette before dropping off. But when I woke up, I was surrounded by a wall of fire.
So I understand. You shouldn't have closed the door.
But there's a fire, my dear sir.
Don't call me sir anymore. Just call me Willie.
Willie.
Is there something I can do to help you?
I'll say. Here's a flock of potatoes you can peel. Oh, you peel the potatoes, kid. Your mother and Therese can be doing something else.
Kid, did you say?
Yeah. Everybody else around here is trying to act like a good sport. I thought you might like to join the procession.
How utterly mother's little helper and all that sort of thing. I'm afraid processions bore me. And I never peeled a potato in my life.
And I've seen days when I didn't have one to peel.
Let's both peel them, darlings, and I'll show you how. You know, when your father and I were first married, I had to learn how to cook. He wasn't wealthy then. In fact, we had some hard times at first.
How touching. Why didn't you move in here with his aunt? She was always so fond of him.
It's none of my business, but give me 5 minutes a day with that kid in a locked room and I'd show you something.
What do you mean?
I'd whale the living daylights out of her. Oh, I've seen plenty of them like that in show business. They come in acting like they own the earth. And 9 times out of 10, it's just because they're young and scared to death they aren't going to make good. And most of them don't make good. And if you're an old hand at the business, you know they won't. And there are plenty of tough times ahead. But if they've learned to be regular, they'll be able to take it better when the bad breaks start coming. So you gang up on them, give them a silent treatment for a while, or good going over, and... Why, Mrs. Pidgeon. Oh, that's the trouble with me. I talk too much. I forgot for a minute that she was your kid and how you must love her. That's not why I'm crying. Well, then what was it? Was it something else I did?
No. Oh, no. It's just...
Oh, you're just tired, that's what, and all upset. You worked like a dog to have a nice Christmas in town, and that was spoiled. And then you came up here and everything went wrong. I think you've been swell about it. And we still have tomorrow. We can whip this joint into shape. We can get another tree, even if we have to cut it down. And we can trim it in the old-fashioned way with cranberries and popcorn. I had one like that once. My mother fixed it up for me in some crummy old hotel room when we were on the road with Uncle Tom's cabin. And it looked just as elegant to me as that one you have at home in the library.
Is there anything wrong?
She's tired, and I'd blab my mouth off.
Mrs. Pidgeon, may I suggest that you go and lie down for a while?
What is Angela doing?
Endeavoring to make a rug.
Make a rug. Oh, dear.
Holy mackerel. For me?
Is this a picture of her? All right. If you hear...
Cold and damp for a soul so... long by a firefly lamp. Before the rising morn. For him to
Out fight at you.
Wherever did you live? Be a throwback.